Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had a good lunch break and an even better morning session. It's been fantastic so far. I've been in a couple different sessions, and yeah, it's great to see so many people here when they on their own summer vacation time. And thank you for joining us there. And it's been wonderful to see so many great session presentations from your colleagues and from some of the business sector and some nonprofit. It's fantastic that we're all coming together here to enhance our skills and knowledge around digital technology use in education. So thanks everyone for that. Just a couple quick checks. Can everyone hear me?
All clear here.
All clear. Thank you for that. And can everyone see? I'm sharing my screen to the ASD-W Digital Responsibility Framework website here, our toolkit. Can everyone see that?
We can.
Good. Okay, perfect. Thanks for that. Well, myself and on behalf of our digital learning lead team, we're really happy and excited to share this new resource with you, whoever's on the call. You know, this is for everybody. Anyone who is in our system. At the current moment, all New Brunswick teachers should be able to access this website now. It is live, and if one of the digital learning leads wants to maybe copy and paste the website link into the chat box at some point during the session, that would be great. And I'm just going to take this next 18 minutes to just introduce you to what we have created for you and take you for a little bit of a tour. So this is a SharePoint site that the digital learning lead team has worked really hard to create. And basically, if you look at that, our reason for doing this was just to try and create a really practical resource to some of the digital literacy and digital responsibility frameworks and theories that you'll see out there. There's a lot of them. So just to give you a little history of this, I'm going to go down this link here and click right on this New Brunswick Digital Literacy Framework document. And so basically, I was seconded a couple years ago. I should say, if you don't know me, I'm Matt McGuire. I'm the technology subject coordinator here in the West. And I was seconded a couple years ago by EECD, UMB, and Opportunities New Brunswick via CyberMB. That was back in 2018 to kind of inventory the education landscape on what digital literacy frameworks existed, what research says, what some of the practical applications look like. And I did that, and as well, so I found some commonalities and some excellent research and resources, and found some gaps as well. And over the course of 2 years, kind of presented this back to EECD and UMB and ONB. So basically, for that reason, we wanted to be really transparent. So we left the first page of that report on this website to kind of give a little bit of a background of what it is. So again, you know, we live in a digital age where we've got tools and software applications, and now BYOD everywhere here in New Brunswick. But alongside that, not just about using the tools, it's really important with the way the internet and everything network devices is these days, that we really have to educate ourselves and our students on how to be safe and happy and healthy and responsible and successful in those digital realms. So we thought this is a good way to report the research. This is kind of what the landscape says, but the digital learning leads said, let's put this into some practical applications so it's not just theory, so we can give teachers some lessons that they can begin to explore with their students on developing these literacy and responsibility skills. So basically, just to give you the short of it, this happened over 2 years in 3 phases. In fact, it'd be more than 2 years now. But so again, the research and development phase, and then a consultation phase where I reached out to various stakeholders to provide some input on what the standards look like in the framework. And then the implementation phase is kind of where we're currently at. So I'll let you, I'm not going to go through that. You can read that if you're interested and where all that comes from. But basically, it comes down to 6 arms or 6 categories of digital literacy or digital responsibility that we identified. So digital citizenship being number 1, and that says the ability for students to recognize the rights, responsibilities, and opportunities of living, learning, and working in an interconnected digital world, and being able to act and model in ways that build the common good. That's the general scope of digital citizenship. And then underneath that, you'll find a number of larger general curriculum outcomes, and underneath those, some more specific outcomes to help kind of guide those discussions and exactly what you're digging into. So I won't go through each of those. I'll let that happen on your own time. But so a few general curriculum outcomes under digital citizenship, as well as lots of SEOs. Then we've got digital health and wellness. Students understanding the elements of physical and psychological well-being in a digital world. They're able to kind of govern themselves when using those devices. And the third arm is critical inquiry and meaning making. That's that digging in and making meaning for oneself, finding out what's legit, what's valid, what may not be, how to recognize all those sites and those tools, and then basically able to turn that around and create that and display and share that meaning students for themselves. So that's that arm. The fourth, creativity, design, and problem solving. And again, that's a really big idea. And all of these are intertwined. Like creativity, design, and problem solving is in most things that we do in our education experience. And so, we've got a separate arm for this, but it is kind of scattered throughout everything. So there's that arm. There's the effective communicating and collaborating arm. And again, that appears throughout. And lastly, the 6th and final arm of this digital literacy framework, computational thinking. And that one really was interesting and difficult to kind of put down, because it is still somewhat of a newer process in the education realm. That involves coding, but it also involves a little bit of AI and augmented reality, I should say, but yeah, artificial intelligence and a lot of the things that are going on in the back. And that computational thinking is about like deconstructing problems as a computer would, and understanding them that way can help us in our normal lives away from technology and when we're using technology itself. So that's the framework that you can access here right on the ASDW Digital Responsibility Framework site. So to get to the toolkit part, you'll see over on the left here, I'm going to go back to the home. I do have a little introductory video here that just kind of explains what I just did. And then you'll see the 6 arms here. But we didn't only use the framework itself, which is linked below on each page. We didn't just use that. So what we took the digital literacy framework, and then we surveyed every principal in ASDW as well as a lead teacher, and we asked them to fill out a 4-question survey, basically, that said, what are the challenges that you're facing as a school and as teachers and in your classrooms? And we tried to categorize those and organize them, and then take the repeating themes that we saw and create resources to help meet the challenges that schools are facing. And we had to bite off a certain section to begin with. And so what we did was we decided to, we split into 2 groups, and one group located resources for the 3 to 5 range, and one group for the 6 to 8 range. And so what you've got here is grades 3 to 8. You've got a list of resources that directly connect back to the New Brunswick Digital Literacy Framework. And I should just say that the Digital Literacy Framework hasn't been officially released yet, but we're hoping, and there was some setbacks with everything that's been going on lately, but we're hoping that officially comes out soon. But in the meantime, we know it will, so we tried to get a jump start on this. So and just as a caveat before I take you in and just show you a couple of these, we do plan on continuing this process for grades 9, 10, 11, and 12, and even K-2. This is where we've started off, and we hope you find it useful. So I'll just talk for a few more minutes here, and then we can open up the floor for some discussion and some questions. So if you take a look, we'll just say, open grade 5 here. So you can click on the grade 5 link, you can see that we're over here on the left, we're in the grade 5 link as well. Within each one of these grade levels, you'll find those 6 arms that we talked about. They're not necessarily categorized as the same titles, but they are 6 themes that we uncovered as a team and through those surveys with administrators. Now, within these, so you'll see these 6 arms here. Media balance and well-being is here, privacy and security, digital footprint and identity, relationships and communication, cyberbullying and digital drama, and news and media literacy. Just a one-liner of descriptor underneath of what that actually looks like. So if you're a grade 4 teacher, grade 5 teacher, grade 6 teacher, maybe even someone else, you might be interested in making all these connections. So let's say I'm a grade 5 teacher and I really see a need for some education and some exploration of digital footprint and identity. So I come into the Digital Responsibility Framework site, I click on it, and there are a few model resources and lessons for you to actually explore and to see if some of these would be useful for you in your classrooms. So, and again, this is a breathing document. We have this as a basis for the 2021-22 school year, but this will be updated as we find more effective and appropriate resources that we can add in here. So under digital, for grade 5, digital footprint and identity, you'll see we've got a few lessons here. Lesson Beyond Gender Stereotypes. It gives you the objectives and the description, the link to the website, and these aren't lessons that we've created. We've sourced them out from some of the leading educators in the world for digital literacy. So you'll see mainly Common Sense Education, which is a US company. You'll see Media Smarts, who presented today, and they'll present this afternoon. They are the leading Canadian digital literacy company, and they do some work in our district as well. And you'll see a few others from EverFi and some of those leaders. So again, Beyond Gender Stereotypes, that lesson. Here's an Internet Safety Toolkit lesson, and then again, a follow-up activity, a quiz. Now, just to dig into that a little bit, if you look at this lesson, Internet Safety Toolkit, you can click on the link and it will take you to the lesson, the website itself. You can look at this PDF and open up that document and take a look at the lesson. And again, there's the learning objectives. But what we really wanted to do is we wanted to take these really solid resources and link them back to the New Brunswick Digital Literacy Framework. So within each one of these lessons, you'll find those connections underneath. So those 6 arms that I mentioned, digital citizenship, digital health and wellness, and so on, you'll find that these are all hyperlinked to those outcomes within the framework. So you'll see this one is quite comprehensive. An Internet Safety Toolkit does touch upon almost all of, or I guess it does, it touches on all of the arms within our digital literacy framework in New Brunswick. So this one will be quite comprehensive. But if you look up here at the Beyond Gender Stereotypes, you'll see that which specific outcomes from the digital literacy framework are connected. So digital citizenship 1D, health and wellness 2A and 2D, and so on. So let's say I am looking at this and I do want to investigate that a little further, and I've taken a look at the lesson, great. If I'm trying to really to give my best effort on addressing most of the outcomes of the framework, then I can kind of look at this and see what I've done. And we kind of have this set up almost like a badge system where you can kind of make your way through these as you see fit. So let's take a look. This digital citizenship link, if I click on this link, it will take me to the digital literacy framework for New Brunswick and right down to that outcome. So within that lesson, you'll see that students are aware of and understand the broader context of digital technology use, and they're able to leverage these into the activities of everyday life. Now, that's a really broad outcome. So here are your specifics underneath that. These are almost I can statements for students, or students can statements, we'll say. So within that document, students can reflect on the role of digital technology in everyday life. They're free to exercise their right to abstain or use technology. So it goes through these, and this is pretty self-explanatory, and I'm hoping that that others find this useful. So again, I'll take you back to the home page, and again, if people want to try and access this, everything Carm has assured me that everyone will have rights if you are a New Brunswick educator or part of the New Brunswick education system. So let's open this up to some questions and just see what you might feel about this, or yeah, we'll field some questions. I'm going to stop sharing now. Anyone have any thoughts or remarks or questions? Thumbs up's good. Yeah, thank you for the thumb up, Sandra. This is a lot. This is probably something that you will have to explore on your own time, and I'll leave the floor open. But I guess one thing I will say is, yeah, if you do take a look and you find something that's missing, or you have questions about a number of things, by all means, you can reach out. Let's take a look at the chat box here. Explain how this would be part of a school plan. Yeah, that's a good idea. You know, if some of your school improvement plans or your school plans include any kind of digital literacy work or digital responsibility work, and that is something collectively that you've come to with your staff, then you could say, you know, by the end of this school year, each classroom, each teacher, each group of students would have explored a number of these, or a certain branch that they feel would be really imperative to their growth as a digital citizen, and you can include that. That's a great idea, Waylon. Are the lessons for teacher, and by the way, digital learning leads, jump in anytime. Are the lessons for teacher use, or is there something to, sorry, I'm just popping ahead here. Are the lessons for teacher use, or is there something to show students? If for students, I'm just thinking about French. Okay. Right, that's a good question. I mean, this is set up for teachers, but certainly can be shared with students. There's nothing there that wouldn't be accessible to students. They certainly, we would have to find a way to share that with them, but that's something we could talk about. I don't know, Sarah, if that's what you meant.
I think too, Matt, is that maybe this is what Sarah was talking about, is that there's lots of teaching resources in there. There may be videos, there may be other pieces that go with it. It's not just a lesson plan, and the teachers don't have to develop any, or have to develop a whole bunch of stuff. There's resources that go with those plans. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, I misunderstood that. Thanks, Jeff. That's true. It's not just lesson plan one, here it is, that addresses it. These are all kind of different. Some of them are PDF lessons, but when you do go to the link that I showed you earlier for each one of those lessons, you'll be taken to a website that will have a number of other accompanying resources too. So it's kind of a way for you to learn who's doing some digital literacy work in education. And there's videos, follow-up activities, lots of stuff. It's not just a quick lesson. So that is a good point. And hopefully, Sarah, that there would be something available in some other languages. But again, that could be something that we can team up with our team here at the district to make some more resources available at different levels in different languages. And thanks for these comments. Takes out the guesswork. Yeah. Oh, that's really good to hear, Tammy, because that's what we wanted. There's so much out there that we vetted through this and put our stamp of approval on that. So it is a good place, we think, to start. Louise, in terms of grades 9 and 10, I think what we're going to do at this point is to release this and then hit the ground running on the upper grades and just keep rolling. We want to make sure this works and that teachers are open to the idea and that they're using it, and we'll invest as much time as we can into that. And 9, 10, 11, 12 is just as important as those other grades. So thanks for that. Thanks for your excitement. We will get to that. And thank you, Lori, for that. Appreciate it. Yeah, Ed, that's a really good point. You know, our distinction of computational thinking is different from coding and computing. Coding and computing is part of that, but it is a lot larger thing. And yeah, thanks for that, Ed. PDCP in 10, Louise, yeah. Okay, so Carm's telling us currently permissions are set for educators only at the moment.
again, we're really looking for your feedback on this to know what it is you need and how we can make it better. And that's why we're kind of unveiling it with you fine folks here. Any other questions or comments? I appreciate those in the chat box. Excellent. Well, on behalf of the digital learning lead team in ASDW and even a couple of those organizations who've really contributed, thanks for taking the time. Do we have access to common sense education? Crystal, that is a good question. Maybe one of the leads can explain that, but I do know that you do have access to it. You may have to create a quick account, which is free, to fully access all the resources. But yes, you do. Yeah. Well, thanks, everyone. That was just the snapshot and the snippet of what we wanted to share today. And again, yeah, no accounts needed for Media Smarts. That's right, Matthew. Yeah. And you know what? I'll just, from my point of view, Media Smarts contributed a great deal to the New Brunswick Digital Literacy Framework. It was the basis of what I used. Media Smarts, 3 components of using digital technology, using, understanding, and creating, communicating, are what this was. This whole thing was platformed off of, and they have been our #1 resource for this. And we can't thank Media Smarts enough for the work that they do. So thanks, everyone. Please do send some feedback to us. Appreciate that, Louise. I'm going to get home tonight and celebrate my daughter's first birthday. But you know what? Before that, we've got an exciting afternoon of sessions. So enjoy those, everyone. Great to see you. And we'll see you in the sessions and then at the closing for some prizes and a thank you. Okay, enjoy your day. Thanks for joining us.